This program was made possible by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
When local growers put great food on Tennessee tables, that's living green. On the next Live Green Tennessee, we stop by Windy Acres Farm in Orlinda, Tennessee. Next, we visit Seven Island State Birding Area in Knoxville as we learn more about the migration of the monarch butterfly. And finally, we swing by Columbia, Tennessee to visit Hippo Hollow Farms. All this and more on the next Live Green Tennessee.
Pick Tennessee helps you find local farms and farmers markets, plus offers tips for choosing, using, and storing the fresh foods you buy. The Pick Tennessee mobile app is available now on iTunes and Google Play.
What makes our state unique? Find out on the Tennessee Channel, a statewide initiative by your public television stations. Each program is created in Tennessee, about Tennessee, and broadcasted in Tennessee.
Windy Acres Farm produces certified organic, non-GMO grains and grass-fed beef and lamb. Their journey to organic and sustainable farming goes back to the 70s. It was during this time that they became a part of the growing environmental movement of the time, which led them to a world of pure farming and clean living.
Our names are Alfred and Carney Ferris, and we are members of the Windy Acres Farm. And we moved to this farm about 30 years ago, is that right? Over 30 years ago. It's been quite a journey. Sometimes we didn't know whether we would make it or not. And we have shown that we can actually grow crops. We may not get the fantastic yields that some of the conventional farmers get, who are doing heavy irrigation and whatnot. But we're getting a decent yield, and the crops that we grow are very, very nutritious. And we know that the testimony of people that have been here today who are using our feed and our grains is just evidence of that.
About 3.5 years ago is when I first met him. A guy that works with the University of Kentucky in their organic department introduced me to him, brought me down and met him. Basically, what the difference is from conventional to organic is you eliminate the artificial fertilizers and chemical pesticides and herbicides. And you get the soil, you raise soil fertility with natural means, which is either cover crops that you plow under, they call green manure, or actual livestock manure. And that's how you can build the fertility.
So my name is Serena Harden. I have a small 25-acre farm in White Bluff, Tennessee with my family. And it's a hobby farm for us, and really is just a labor of love. We think what we can do and grow is the best. And in order for us to do that, our number one ingredient is really love. Love is what makes everything its true best in the end. And part of those ingredients come from our friends Carney and Alfred Ferris and the grains that they grow on their farm. it really is the best product that we can find around to feed our animals and take care of and love and make sure that they're getting the best nutrients. They are happy, they are healthy, and we can see it with that product. We see how much they love it, how happy they are, and how healthy they are. And in the end, we can taste it too. Their meat is incredible, their eggs are incredible, and that's what we get from Windy Acres, is their broiler grains and their egg layer grains.
My name is Samantha Williams. I mill Sunday morning pancake mix, which is a 9-grain organic pancake mix, freshly milled every week in East Nashville. And when I was starting my business, we were just milling grains for our kids, and I was buying bulk at the store and stuff. And when I decided to make it into a business, I started looking around for organic grain farms in the area, and Alfred and Kearney were the only ones. So from the very beginning of my business, I have done all of my 9 grains are organic, and as many as the grains that I can get here, I get here. So right now we do my wheat and my rye are from here. We've also done their Milo. That was actually Kearney's suggestion to use Milo. It's got such a sweet, nutty flavor. It really, it's like my secret ingredient, I guess, but it's not really a secret anymore. But they've been my grain supplier since I started my business.
Let's not forget that the earth doesn't naturally produce genetically modified items, and it doesn't create synthetic chemicals that are used to control plants and bugs. And the earth doesn't mass produce byproduct and waste in small amount of areas. All of these things combined together don't make for a healthy, sustainable environment. And you need that healthy and sustainable environment to create real food. And I think that's what organic comes down to, is creating what the earth is meant to provide us, as close to the earth as possible.
I use organic because I know my customers want it, and I know it's what I would feed my kids. I know that even though it's a little more expensive for me as a producer and for my customers, it's worth it to know that it's a clean and safe thing to feed my kids.
A few years ago, we came to the conclusion that this organic farming might work for a while like we're doing it, but without livestock in the equation, it really wouldn't, I couldn't really see how this could still be an organic farm in 50 years. What we came up with was a rotational plan where we would have 3 years of healing with grass. And so we got the cattle in order to, really the reason we got the cattle and the sheep were for the land, for the soil. And so that's been a great healing thing. And then after 3 years, we take that and plant it into a cover crop, and then that cover crop feeds the microbes and all the little fungi and bacteria in the soil. We don't think so much in terms of yields here on this farm, how much yield we can get out of it. We like to think more in terms of how healthy is that what we do get. How healthy is it? And to see ourselves as servants of this precious commodity that we call earth, our soils.
The migration of the monarch butterfly remains very much a mystery, but a group at Seven Islands State Birding Park is doing their part to learn more. Let's join them as they show us the delicate work of hunting and tagging monarchs.
Tennessee is a wonderful place to study butterflies. We have about 135 species of butterflies here. I'm Stacey Whetstone, and I do a lot of volunteer work for the Great Smoky Mountains Institute at Tremont, assisting with their monarch butterfly tagging program. I also participate in the Tennessee Butterfly Monitoring Network, doing butterfly surveys. I became interested in butterflies as I was looking for opportunities for my son for our homeschooling. We learned about the monarch tagging in the Great Smoky Mountains at Tremont, and we just enjoyed it so much. We've done it since then for 8 years now. It was phenomenal to see so many different butterflies, but especially the monarchs, to see so many and be able to give back in a way, be outside, but also submit data to real scientists and help them out. Monarch tagging is basically just going out into the fields and searching for monarch butterflies. Most of the time they are nectaring on the purple thistle. You go with a net and you attempt to catch them, and we will look at them and decide what sex they are and place a tag on them. The tags have a certain series of numbers and letters specific to each butterfly. It has a different one, and then we let them go. There's been a great decline in the population, and we've seen that with each year. The first few years we went, it was just incredible how many we saw, and then each year after that, it was quite depressing to see the decline. A good total for the day of tagging monarchs is about 10 these days. In the beginning, when my son and I first started, he and I would catch 20 to 30 ourselves, and now we're seeing, you know, a good day catching 10 monarchs as a group is a good total.
My name is Steve McGaffin. I'm the Curator of Education at the Knoxville Zoo, and I'm also the Citizen Science Coordinator. And so I'm leading the monarch tagging trip that we do as part of Monarch Watch. It can be a little bit delicate depending on the butterfly that you're working with. They're also a little hardier than you might expect. So if you're careful with them, then you're not likely to hurt them. There's a little technique, and that's one of the advantages of coming out to one of the tagging events. We catch a butterfly. I'll train people on how to remove a butterfly from a net, how to properly net a butterfly, and how to be careful so that you don't harm them. First thing I'm going to do is get them out of the net, and then we're going to tag them, and then we need to determine the gender. So what you want to do is you're going to put the tag right on the end of that cell. See that long cell? Right, it's ending right where my finger is. You're going to put the tag right there.
Now?
And I'm going to put my finger underneath it, so when you put the tag down, you can press down on the top of my finger. There you go. And then just right there. And then just push down. Good. There we go. Well, for monarchs specifically, the concern is that we might lose the migration. We're not worried about losing the species as a whole, but we're worried about the monarch migration may disappear. It's something very unusual. Insects don't usually migrate to that level. Butterflies especially, you don't get the size of migration we get. And so understanding how a butterfly with this little tiny brain can figure out how to get from Mexico all the way up to northern Canada, or up southern Canada, and then all the way back to Mexico. And it's not the same individual. It's over several generations, usually about 5 or 6 generations that it takes for them to make the route. So the monarchs that are flying back down to Mexico have never been there before. How in the world can you code genes to tell an animal where to go? They've never been there before. We don't know. We don't have the answers to that. We have no idea. We have guesses, but we have no real idea of how they actually navigate to know where to go. And so the fear is that we'll lose that migration before we learn the answers to that. Tennessee has the advantage of being on the southern end of a lot of northern species, and on the northern end of a lot of southern species. So we get a nice mixture We have a number of butterfly species that migrate north up into our area in the summertime. So we get a good diversity of butterflies. The last time I checked, I think we were over 120, possibly 130 species for the state. I think Knox County has about 86 species, if I remember right. And here at Seven Islands, I think we've documented over 60 species.
Immediately after planting milkweed the first year, there was immediate results. As soon as they were tall enough and the butterflies came, there were eggs and caterpillars on our plants. And that was really neat to see, because before I never really noticed monarchs in my yard. And then to just see them more, and then reproducing and breeding and laying their eggs and caterpillars. You just become attached to something if you spend days and weeks, like I spend months with these monarchs, you know, pretty much from May through October, and you become attached to them. It's amazing watching something grow just like a child. I just think they're phenomenal creatures.
Hippo Hollow Farms in Columbia, Tennessee has a simple mission: know your farmer, know your food. Their open communication policy encourages people to get to know them and the way they handle their food. With pasture-raised poultry, forest-raised pig, and grass-fed meat, they want everyone to know what it's like to have healthy and high-quality food.
When we came here to America, we didn't know what to call the farm, and we wanted it to be something that people will remember. So we prayed about it and walked around, and one day I saw a little kids game, Hi-Ho Cheerio. But my eyes caught the name, and I thought of Hippo Hollow. I thought, what is that? And I go back and it's Hi-Ho, Hippo Hollow. Okay, that's kind of interesting. My wife at that stage was back home in South Africa to visit, and a friend of hers phoned her up and said she had a dream about us, and there was a hippo in our pond. Now, that's not uncommon in South Africa. On the farm there's lots of hippos on the farm. But she says, but the weird thing is it was a hippo on our farm in America. So it was confirmation, and we knew that's our name. So that's why Hippo Hollow Farms, that's our name. South Africa, farm-wise, is very unstable, it's dangerous. So that's one of the reasons we decided to do this. But after the land claims, you never know if they're going to come and take your farm, and what will you do then. So my wife and I prayed about it, and the Lord, within a week, a lady from America phoned us and asked if we want to enroll for the green card. And we did that, and we kind of forgot about that. And then in 2011, they phoned us and said, yeah, we were selected for a green card. But at that stage, it's a long story, a long testimony. But we already knew by that time that the Lord has already said you're going to move. So that's why we moved. The biggest difference between farming here and farming back in South Africa, I would say, is labor. We've got lots of labor, cheaper labor in South Africa. For instance, we've got about 600 acres of bananas, avocados, macadamia nuts, and we've got 110 permanent laborers living on the farm. Over here, it's me, my wife and my kids. On Hippo Hollow Farms we do beef, and we do grass-fed and grass-finished beef. We don't feed any grain. I don't do any antibiotics or growth hormones. It's all what you get is grass-finished beef. We move the cattle daily. Every day they get a new fresh piece of grass. And then we do pork. So we raise pigs from little piggies up to slaughter weight. They're in the woods. I've got lots of woods here on the farm, so we move them through the woods. Every 3 weeks or so we move them. They get fed non-GMO grain, the same with all the chickens. There's no GMOs on the farm, all non-GMO. And the reason we do that in the woods is that it disturbs the soil. They eat the acorns and roots, and they work all the leaves and stuff into the soil, compost it. So that's good for the for the woods as well. And that helps us to disturb the soil in the forest, and that helps new growth and helps the trees, keeping the trees healthy. And it's healthy. They eat acorns, roots, so that people can have nice bacon. Then on the broilers, we've got broiler chickens. We move them in pens, 10 by 12 foot pens daily. Every morning we move them, we feed them and water them. That's all they get, grass, bugs and feed. I don't do any hormones, don't do any steroids or growth hormones, antibiotics, nothing. What you buy is 100% natural.
I'm a family practice doctor here in Spring Hill with Mulberry Clinics, and we have a very kind of integrative, holistic approach to our medical care. And really we believe that the foundation for good health starts with nutrition, and really good nutrition starts right here on farms. I'm really pleased in many cases to recommend this farm, Hippo Hollow, to my patients, and it makes me happy when they call Adele and Joe and are looking for good local food. It lets me know that they believe in what I've said, and they're willing to invest and make steps to improve their health.
I actually just recently moved from Dallas, Texas, and when I came here to Nashville, I was looking for farms, farmers, ranchers who were really big in the local scene, really cared about sustainability, used animal practices, that was rotational grazing. So I specifically sought that out as we were making the kind of the move over to Nashville. And as I was doing research and I was just looking online, I came across Hippo Hollow. And so there was just this natural connection and this natural love for what they were doing and what I've been doing. And so that was just a natural connection. So when I came to Nashville, I thought, I gotta meet these guys.
We were in search of a local provider, so a local farmer that we could purchase, meat and eggs and such like that from. And we came across them and made a farm visit, and just loved their operation, and Joe and Adele and their family, and we've been customers ever since.
For anyone who's not had meat raised like this, who's only bought stuff in grocery stores, you don't really know how amazing it tastes, whether it's chicken or their sausages or the bacon. The pork and the chicken is incredible. And we go on and on about it, but when we have guests over and we share it, recently when Mark's brother was at our house, he said, this is incredible, like this is the best pork I've ever had in my life. And that's why we keep coming back, that's what we get.
For the future, Hippo Hollow Farms has got big plans, but we would like to do a wedding venue, get people to the farm, have nice kind of a fall festival. But that's the future. That's what we would like to do. We would like to bring people to the farm, show them what we do, let them have a nice time, and have nice meat to eat. That's our future goal.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of Live Green Tennessee, where we take you all over the state into the farms and businesses of those who are making the move to eating fresh, living sustainably, and helping us all be more organic in our thinking and the way we live our lives as Tennesseans. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on Live Green Tennessee.
If you would like more information about Live Green Tennessee, please visit our website at livegreentv.org, where you can find everything from healthy recipes to past episodes and more.
Pick Tennessee helps you find local farms and farmers markets, plus offers tips for choosing, using, and storing the fresh foods you buy. The Pick Tennessee mobile app is available now on iTunes and Google Play.
What makes our state unique? Find out on the Tennessee Channel, a statewide initiative by your public television stations. Each program is created in Tennessee, about Tennessee, and broadcasted in Tennessee. This program was made possible by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.